I think it's just the end of the year and knowing what's coming up and trying to save money, but also trying to knowing that I have to spend money. Then my credit score did just take a shot, so I'm not exactly proud about that.
Mm.
So I was just like, so that's all. Just I was just like, that's that. About to come out of pocket $1,000 just for Malachi's a year. That's not including his birthday. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew all of this was coming up. It's just that it's coming up. And when I get through it, well, whatever that looks like come January is what that looks like come January. But you still gotta go through it. And I'm trying to keep myself together outside of my expenses, trying to keep myself together, still trying to look for a house, getting the same stupid runaround, even with me making them twice as much money that I was making, still getting the same damn running around, even just to move out to rent. Bama literally told me I had to make $100,000 to rent a $3,000 house. And I was just like, oh, okay.
That's because technically you're supposed to make 3 times the amount. But the truth of the matter is, when most people in this country are housing burden, because no, that's just not financially feasible.
It
It's,
doesn't make sense either. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Like,
ideally it should, but the way that the world is set up, that's not reality. That's not reality. The
yeah, like,
reality is not that. The reality is not that you make 3 times. Most people maybe make twice. Maybe make twice as much
so
as
to
they.
make it so that you have to have another person on it, and y'all both have to have an X amount of credit score, and you have to have no. And I'm like,
It either makes you codependent on somebody else, or if you want to do it by yourself, then it means that you
are never home.
live to work. Yeah, you are literally living and working 4 jobs, 2, 3 jobs
So you're never in this house that you're paying for.
that you're paying for, unless you work from home for one of those jobs. Otherwise, yeah, you're never at home. So what was the point?
Yeah, I was like, this is.
Yeah, that's the reality of the situation in these here United States of America.
And
That
that's just
everything is
that
one
makes
stream is
no.
so great and this, that, and the third. You don't have universal health care. Everybody's struggling to eat, to be housed, and to clothe themselves. But it's so great. Oh, it's so great. And I'm not saying that it couldn't be worse, because it could, but I
No,
don't.
I get it, but at
But
the
I
same
don't.
time,
Yeah, but I'm not one of those people that subscribes to life is great because it could be worse.
no,
That's not. I don't believe in that
that's not
mindset.
realistic. Like, no. And that's what I'm all for. And I told mom, I was like, Mom, I'm all for faith. I'm all for X, Y, and Z. But I also know I do have to live in my reality. And in my reality right now, that makes no sense. That's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's not. I was like, that man, literally, that man told me, he was like, oh, you don't make enough. I said, so I make $72,000 a year. You telling me I can't afford $3,000 in rent? He was like, well, that would be more than half your income. I said, you don't know what bills I have, what bills I don't. He was like, well, if you count your car note, you don't know if I have a car note.
And that's the other thing. People make assumptions about the rest of your situation when they talk about housing. That's why they assume that a third of your income should go to housing, because they also then think a third of the rest is going to go to your car, to your credit card, and living expenses, as far as like gas, electric, all that other shit. But that may not really be the case, depending on the person. And for some people, it's just not that realistic. And that's the issue that I'm finding too, or that I know I'm going to walk into, even with making what I make. And this has always been my issue. I have been a believer in, where the hell, and I had this conversation with my mother when I was living in Baltimore, where the hell is affordable housing? Like, for real. For somebody like myself who works full time, comes to the table with a dog. And at that point, I don't even think I had room when she and I had that conversation. It was like, and you're still telling me, oh, you can have a place as long as you don't mind worrying about getting shot when you walk outside. Why should I have to worry about my personal safety, my vehicle getting stolen, or any of that? When I work full time, I pay my taxes. I don't have a criminal record. I don't have a lot of these issues, but you want me to then put myself in harm's way? Or, oh, well, you and 3 other people can live in this 2-bedroom. Oh, so I could just live in New York City for that. There's a reason I don't live in New York City. That is one of the big reasons I don't live in New York City. I'm not about to.
So now I can't walk around my house naked.
I can't walk around it's not mine. It's shared. But again, it's that dependency. It's that codependency. Whether you're codependent on a roommate, codependent on a boyfriend, codependent on a girlfriend or a spouse, it still forces you to be codependent. Or again, to have 17 jobs. So you're never at the house. That was the whole point of this anyway.
Which means if you have children, God forbid, you're not home raising them.
So then everybody, the TV is raising. And we see what the results of that are.
Yeah, I was just like, this is a mess. This is a mess. And I was like, okay, I'm still filling out these applications. I'm still doing, like, even I sent one to a guy. He said he's showing the house on Thursday between 6:30 and 7:30. So I was like, I'll just go, right after work. And see the house. It's in Clinton, I think. Or for Washington, one of them. I look it up in a little bit. And he was like, your credit score, as long as it's in the 600s. I was like, that part I ain't worried about. Damn near fucking 7. That's why I was like, maybe it's that, because I was right there. And then it dropped. And I was like,
but it's not that. My credit score has been in the high 7s, knocking on 8. It's been in extremely good, so close to excellent forever. And it's still the same shit, regardless of what your credit score is. That all of it is a joke.
And that's the other part. I'm like, so what's the point of me having this damn near 700 credit score if you're telling me I don't make enough money?
Again, all of it is a joke, because my credit is fucking awesome. My credit is amazing. It's been amazing. And I still run into the same issue because you don't make enough. So if I want to live by myself, which we'll see how this goes, which is why I don't know how this is going to go. Up until when I was I knew where I lived before was a luck out. And it was a luck out because the guy, number one, it was privately owned because it was a condo. So the dude renting it owned it. And so he set the rent. And he wasn't really trying to rake me over. It was really when I asked him, this is your price. Like, I acknowledge, I acknowledge. So my question becomes, this is underpriced. Why? Because it wasn't even like it was slightly underpriced. You are at least $300 underpriced. I know this. I should not be able to afford this. Explain to me why. And he was like, he basically priced it in the way that it was for someone like myself who is semi-recently out of school and trying to get on their feet so that they lived in a safe environment and did not have to worry about getting shot walking out their house, their car against all of the bullshit things. So he was like, I priced it like this intentionally. That's why. He also owned a bunch of other properties. So he's like, other properties are like.
Yeah, but those people are so rare. You got the whole spirit of greed out here. Everybody I want to get this property so that this person right here can pay that mortgage and this one. Why would you put that burden on them? First of all, to me, that's not smart, because now you relying on your mortgage to get paid by somebody else paying your rent.
Yeah.
So if they're behind, you asked out on your mortgage. That's dumb.
That's a big risk and gamble. But
right. I'm like, that's absolutely stupid and ridiculous. No, you don't do it that way. But I've heard so many people who say that. I'm like, that's stupid. That's not smart. Nope. Like, you should be able to pay your own mortgage and have that as extra. That's what that's supposed to be. Now, if you have multiple properties, I could possibly understand between the two of them, one of those are going to pay your mortgage, but the other is X, Y, and Z. And that's still not counting your money. That if either one of these people default, you can still pay your shit.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Good, whatever. Okay, let's talk. What are we talking about?
Abstinence.
Yes, not flocking. Okay,
Nah.
I'm not gonna say that. I am.
All right, I'm just making a note because since we don't have for the culture anymore. I mean, not for the culture. During I've been doing bonuses on the 5th ones.
Yeah, I just looked at the calendar today. Was like, oh, I got to come to work in the morning because Roberta's last day is Friday. I was like, fuck. And then mom and dad thing supposed to be that evening. I got to talk to Eric about that because I need to know what it is that she looking to do whole 9 yards because Rob will be at work. So who's cooking? What are we cooking? What are we doing decorations? Who's paying for what? Like what's happening? Because you have this wonderful idea, which is great, but who is funding and how is this getting done, especially with this being a week out? And I understand she was like, well, I don't have money to go out to eat. And I was like, no, I get that. I completely get that.
Yeah.
However, it's still planning involved in the other part if that's what we're going to do. Yeah. And what does that look like? I'm be honest, I don't have it in me to plan anything. Shit, Malachi's party 18th. The nigga going to kiss me. Ain't no planning involved. I just need to know who you were, how many people you tell them niggas that they responsible for their ticket and their food. And that ticket has to include the 100 houses in case if anybody plan on going into a 100 house. Period. All I'm doing is taking people, and that's it. I can't do like I did when he turned 16. I'm not doing that. It's his senior year. I can't do that. And now, if I didn't have to pay $500 for these damn pictures, $400 for his damn tattoo, another $130 for his passport, then maybe we could talk about it. But fair. As long as you want this tattoo, they gonna pay for their own shit. Fair. And I'm not. And my goal is to not ask. So he asked his grandmother for his money for his class rent, which is fine. I'm not asking anybody. And that was only because she offered to help with something. And I was like, I don't want to completely ignore her and her feel like, in a type of way. So I was like, just ask your grandmother to pay for your ring and let her know the money is due in November. It's $200. I'll take care of the rest. So I'm paying for his senior pictures at the end of next month. My dad was like, well, I'll probably give you the money for that. Well, that's fine. I'll pay for it. If you give me the money, then that goes back in my pocket. But I'm not looking to have anybody, including my husband, pay for my son's senior year. For real, no. That's my responsibility. So, God willing, that's what's going to happen. Okay?